This is Mike Miles from the Genuine Interactive PHP team, and today I'm going to be giving a basic introduction on how to create your own field widgets in Drupal 7. Now, field widgets are what are used to display fields and edit forms, whether you're editing a node, a user, any type of entity. If you're adding fields to that entity, you're using widgets to display those fields. Everything that I'm going to be covering today, you can read up on at the Drupal API website, specifically under the Field Widget API section. We'll have more in-depth information, as well as information on all the functions and methods, the hooks that are available for creating your own widget. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using a field widget I've created, which is called Taxonomy Order Select, and it attaches itself to term reference fields. Now I just have a basic Drupal 7 website with some generated content, and all I've gone and done is added a term reference field to the basic page content type. So as you can see here, when you're looking at the fields, you have the field type and the widget that it's using. Term reference, this one's just using the built-in select list widget. But instead, I wanted to use my widget. So first things first is I have to get Drupal to recognize my widget. How do you do that? That is where the field widget info hook comes in. So the field widget info hook tells Drupal about your widget, basically. And it's structured like this. So here's my taxonomy order select field widget instance of the field widget info hook. It's a keyed array, the key being your widget type. It's important to prevent name clashes that you prefix this with your module name. That's what the Drupal API recommends. Since my widget is a single widget, I'm just actually using just the module name. The label is what will show up in this select list when the user is selecting the widget type. Field types are what fields your widget can be attached to. For my widget, it can only be attached to taxonomy term reference fields, but you could add multiple fields. You could add text field, you could add select fields, whatever type of field you want your widget to be able to attach to. Settings, just some basic settings for fields. Behaviors are important to note. These are telling Drupal what to do in different instances, basically with the cardinality, really. Field widget info page tells you about the different behaviors that are available. For multiple values, you basically have two, which is behavior default, which tells Drupal, hey, when there's multiple values available, duplicate my field, or behavior custom, where you want Drupal to say, alright, you're going to do something custom, you tell me what to do, and you basically have callback functions for that. So the taxonomy or select, we're going to use field behavior default, and I create this hook, update, and it shows up here under the widget types, which is restorable table of terms. So I'm going to use this. So there's only two real hooks you need to basically get your widget recognized and usable by Drupal. First one is the widget info, and the second one is the field widget form. So where field widget info tells Drupal about your widget, field widget form is actually what tells Drupal how to display a field. So I've changed this term reference field to use my widget, and we're just going to go and edit a node real quick. Basic page node. Find one. I believe this is a basic page. Yep, alright, so let's edit this. So you'll notice for my term reference field, it displays differently than you might be used to if you're a Drupal developer who's done term reference fields before. What this shows is multiple select lists that are restortable, and you can add multiple to them. And this is what my widget does, is it provides this interface right here. This is done with the field widget form hook. So with my module, with my widget, I have an instance of the field widget form hook, and it takes a bunch of arguments: the form state, what field it is, instance of that field, language code, default items, the delta, and basic widget info, which is what element is. And what you want to do is add your custom widget information to this element item. And that's actually what this hook returns, is the element item. So I'm doing a quick check to see what widget type is being used for this field, for this instance of this field. In this case, if it's my taxonomy order select, then my module does some things where first it retrieves the values for the taxonomy that it's using, so it retrieves the terms, and it gets the default values. I've copied what the options module does simply because it was already doing what I needed to do. So the important thing about this hook really comes down to when you build the widget form element. What you're doing is the element variable itself already has the basic information for the widget, and you're just adding to it. So you want to make sure you add your array to the element array. And you're adding things like what type of form element it is. For mine, it's a select field. What options are available, anything that comes with when defining a field is what you want to put here. Default values, custom attributes, whatnot. So I add my array items to the widget, to the element, save as widget. And what's important is, depending on the fields your widget can be attached to, again mine is taxonomy term reference, these fields are expecting certain values to be returned. So I want to make sure that anything that's selected for my widget gets attached as a TID, term ID, which is what the taxonomy term reference field is expecting. So I build my widget, I add it to the element as the TID, and I return the element. So what all this does right here, basically this, is all it really does is it defines this select field. It defines all the select fields, but it defines the select field. Drupal itself, because of the default behavior for multiple, it generates this drag and drop table. So I can select multiple terms. I've added some advanced functionality where it will limit the terms to ones that haven't been selected. I can order them. And again, I don't have to define this functionality, especially the drag and drop. Drupal defines that with how it handles multiple values. And then if I save this, and the page reloads, it displays the terms that were selected in the order that my widget selected them. So that's a real quick, basic introduction. There's a lot more in depth you can go. You can add widgets. You can create new fields and add those fields to existing widgets. You can alter other widgets. There's some alter hooks that are available. But really, to get Drupal to see your custom widget, you just need to define the widget info and the widget form, the field widget form. So tell Drupal what your widget is, and tell Drupal how to display your widget. You might have to do a little back and forth and playing around to make sure it stores your values, but that's all part of learning development. So that's real quick, and I hope this has given you some introduction for creating your own widgets.